Okay, so I'm about to speak to Jordan Heron. He's a filmmaker behind Not the End of the World. Congratulations.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yes, and welcome to London.
Yeah, it's lovely. Never been here before, except to change planes at Heathrow to go somewhere else. So it's really nice to get off and look around.
So you've never been to London at all?
No.
Wow. So I guess you've got over a little bit of your jet lag, I hope.
A little bit. I woke up a little bit earlier today. I mean, it's still like 6 or 7 in the morning in Canada. So well, in the east of Canada where I'm from.
And I guess you've got loads to go and see. Have you got a hit list of places you want to go?
Well, it gets dark here. I guess I'm farther north than I thought.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So I went out around dusk yesterday and I saw Buckingham Palace and the Wellington Arch and all
Oh,
that.
you did go?
And Parliament buildings in Westminster Abbey, all in the dark.
Oh.
But that was fine because filmmaker, so I'm taking pictures in the dark and I'll go back in daylight for another look.
St Paul's is my favourite, and Natural History Museum, British Museum, they're three really good ones. It's having the time to do it.
Yeah, if I get time to go to the British Museum, I'd get stuck in there for days if I went.
Oh yeah, I took my daughter, it was a few years ago now, she was only like 6 or 7 there, and we went to Natural History Museum, and they're all day, and a day is just not enough. I mean, we could spend days and days, it's amazing. It's built up. Anyway, I'm getting sort of, as always do, off piste. So, Jordan, if you can just give us a brief, introduce yourself if you want, and just give us a brief synopsis of your film.
Oh, myself? I've been doing this for only a very short time. I'm an IT project manager by trade.
Right.
I found a hiccup in my career, went off and did a bit of acting. Was told that if you're going to be an actor and no one gives you a role, then give yourself a role and make a film. So I made this short film simply as a vehicle for acting, and found out that I really, really liked making films. So now I have 2 things to do now. I'm trying to act and I'm trying to direct, and I'm doing a bit of writing. This particular film, based on a short story written by a friend of mine, Jeannie Warner, in the US.
Yeah.
And I adapted it as a screenplay for a short film, sent it off to her, and she said, "Cheers, go ahead, do it."
Oh, wow.
So it's a first attempt, and as such, we all look back at our first attempts and go, "Oh, that's horrible."
But do you really?
Well, you get.
Are you pretty pleased with it?
Well, I am pleased with it as a first attempt at filmmaking, but to be honest, through the working with the editor, I did get sick of it, and you get to question your work and go, why would anyone want to see this? I am sick of it, it's horrible. And the first time you see it with an audience, I saw it in Milton, Ontario, with an audience, and it really restores your faith, because they've never seen it before, they're not bored with it, and they enjoy it, and it kind of pays back all of that work that you've been doing, is to have somebody watch your film and tell you that they enjoy it.
So I guess when you see it like that and hear those lovely comments, I'm sure you wanted to carry on making films anyway, but does that just double your enthusiasm?
It does. It does. I don't want to sit here and say that I need to have my ego stroked constantly. No. But everybody wants to do a good job.
Of course, yeah.
In whatever they do in life. And it's really helpful if you get some positive feedback. Negative feedback's good too if you want to improve. Yeah. But and I like people that, see it as filmmakers and go, that was good, but you could do this differently, or you could, and I've seen a lot of that myself. You do a little bit more work in the industry, and then you watch your own work and go, oh, shouldn't have done that. And you just strive to make your next one better than your last one, and it's nice to have some positive feedback and to have an audience say that they enjoyed it.
And are you going to carry on doing in front or behind, or would you rather go would you rather be behind the camera than to act still? Sorry, I'm sort of waffling, but you know what I mean.
I enjoy both. So far though, I have acted in my short films. Yeah. And what I want to stop doing is both. Maybe it's fine if you're an A-list star and you've got the budget, but I find that splitting your time between directing and acting,
it's quite. I know from it's tough. It's quite tough.
It's a lot of work, which I don't mind. The problem is that if you do a good job of both, then the film crew is sitting around waiting on you. because you get in front of the camera and you
Oh,
do
right.
your job, and then you got to get behind the camera and look at what you just shot to see if it's what you want, and the camera crew is just sitting around waiting for you. So I put a lot of trust in my director of photography and my first assistant director. We do a lot of pre-production, and then when we get to shoot, I concentrate on the acting, and I just look at them and go, "Did you get what we said we were going to get?" And they said, "Yeah." And I go, "Fine," and I don't look at the shots.
Is it fun? I mean, is it a fun thing? Because I know a lot of people think, people that aren't involved in the industry or know about the industry probably think, oh, it's the greatest job in the world because they sit down. But I think it's a lot of bloody hard work, having spoken to lots of filmmakers.
Well, it is hard work, but if it's hard work that you want to do, I mean, we all have to work for a living. Some of us have to work and then make films because we can't find a job in the film industry.
Yeah.
But my wife can't stand the industry. She thinks making films is the most boring thing in the world. Because that's not the way she thinks. It's, I know it's a lot of work. It's a lot of tedious work. It's a lot of detail. But you're looking to the end product. You know where you want to get. You want to be able to put something up on the screen and go, that's the idea I wanted to put across. That's the story I wanted to tell. And there it is. And it's worth it if people who are in the industry, especially people who aren't making a living at it and are doing it purely out of passion, usually funding it out of their own pocket. The only reason they do that is because they want to put the story up on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And I would like to continue to direct, but what I would like to do is act in some films and then direct other films and focus on what I'm doing and not try and do both at the same time.
No, sorry, I was going to say, do carry on, I interrupted there.
I was just going to say, you tend to do a half a job of both if you're trying to do them both at the same time, unless you've got a lot of time to get both jobs right.
I mean, I may have asked, because what people won't realise is we've spoken on the phone before, and the question, if we talked about this, was do you wish you'd have started it an early part of your life? It just seemed like the right time when you did do it. Because it's always easy to look back and say, if only, but not necessarily, I don't know.
Well, I recently read the biography of Peter Jackson, right? The Lord of the Rings guy, other films. And I mean, he started filming when he was, I think, 10 or 12, with his family's Super 8 camera. And yeah, it was a passion for him from the earliest age, and he's got to where he is because it's been a passion for his whole life. I'm in my late-ish 50s, and I've only been doing this for 3 years and a bit. It's easy to look back and say, I wish I'd started sooner because then I might have a career, I might be more established, I might be getting to do more of what I want to do. But on the other hand, I wasn't probably ready to do this years ago. When I was in high school, I was in the math club. The other kids were in the drama club. I didn't get along with them. It was not, entertainment was not something I did a lot.
So you didn't have any interest in it when you were younger?
No, I mean, I've always liked watching TV and watching film, but it never occurred to me that I could do it myself.
Right.
I was reading a book by Dean Silver, and to paraphrase, he goes, if you want to be a surgeon, you can't just operate on people. That's not legal.
Yeah.
If what you want to be is a filmmaker, just go make a film. It'll probably suck, and your next one will be better.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got into acting at a fairly late age that making a film became even a thought in my mind. And when I said, sure, why not? Let's try and do this. I had a lot of fun and went, oh, this is cool. I should have discovered this years ago, but maybe I wasn't ready for it years ago. I've never thought of myself as an artistic or creative person. I was always the geek in the math club. Not the end of the world. I did not write the original story. I adapted the screenplay, but I've got some projects that I'm working on right now that are original material that I've written.
Comedy still?
No. Everything has a comic bent, and I think that's just the way my brain works and the way my friends are. We're a very funny group. We sit around. We're not funny comedians. We just sit around the table and eat and drink and make ourselves laugh.
Yeah. Sounds a bit like my life.
Yeah. Most of the people I like, that seems to be their life.
Yeah.
I'm working on an action character drama, but it's got funny stuff. I'm working on a character story in the Anglo-Zanzibar War in 1896, but there's some pretty funny lines in it. In fact, even this short, Not the End of the World, is nominated for Best Comedy here, Best Comedy Short. I'm assuming that I will lose to somebody who actually made a comedy on purpose. My film, I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know what genre it was. You know, it pretends to be a bit of a horror. It's trying developing the character. There's not a lot of action. But when I got nominated for Best Comedy Short, I thought, well, I guess it's a comedy. And I actually wrote the author of the short story and said, hope you're not offended. And she replied, when I wrote it, I thought it was hilarious. So, yeah, everything should have a comic bent. I mean, even the most serious of movies has to have some light moments in it.
I mean, when you're adapting this and putting it together, actually, no, it might be easy to say, when you've seen the film over and over and over again, yes. Do you wish you'd had more comic bits in it, or are you pretty happy with the? No, I'm very happy with the story as it was written. I added one line in the whole short when I adapted it, and it was a pet peeve of mine. Spoiler alert! No, it was a pet peeve of mine that in any movie that portrays supernatural beings that possess a human, that they always talk like you and I do, with lips and faces, and so when my, well, for lack of a better word, when the antagonist shows up, he doesn't use his vocal cords, the voice just comes, and there's a line where the protagonist says, I wish you'd stop doing that, or something like that, because it's just a pet peeve of mine that supernatural beings seem to constrain themselves to the human body. And I specifically added that because I thought it was funny, and because it was a pet peeve of mine from watching the film. Also, yeah. But no, I'm very happy with the way it turned out. There were a few bits that I wish I'd gone back and looked closely at the footage while we were shooting, so I could have improved my own performance. But no, generally very, very happy with what came out of it. I had a really great crew. They were very helpful, and they knew it was my first time doing this. They had all done their jobs, sometimes amateur, sometimes professional before. So I was kind of the new kid on the block, taking control, but they seemed to like working with me because they came back for my second and third shorts. And on the editing side of it, did you have an editor in place before you put the film together, or was it put the film together and then find the editor?
No,
how did that work?
For the first, this first short that's showing here, actually I had lined up a director of photography, and then I had put out to a friend of mine that I needed someone to edit, and he pointed me to someone I had met many years before but hadn't kept in touch with. So I went to him and said, I'm told you edit, could you do a short film with me? And he said yes. And then when my DP dropped out for a conflict, I knew that this editor that I contacted, Ross Goodfellow, I knew that he had his own camera equipment. And I emailed him and said, I know you agreed to edit, but
can you help me out?
Could you film it? He goes, oh yeah, no problem. So I got a package deal. So Ross shot the footage, then he did all the post-production, and then he did all the editing. I hovered over him for the editing to get what I wanted out of it. But he technically did the editing. With my next short, I actually sent him the raw footage to do post-production work on and sent it back to me, and then I edited it myself. I really enjoy that.
Oh right, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think anyone who wants to be in any job, anywhere, has to know what people do around them. You can't. In IT project management, I don't write code, I don't do QA testing, I don't write business requirements, but I know what all those jobs entail, and that's what makes me good at my job, is that I understand what's needed by the people around me. And if a director doesn't know what the DP needs, what the first AD needs, what the editor needs, what the sound guy needs, if the director doesn't know, then he's giving up his control to other people because they know what they need.
Yeah.
And I don't tend to think of it as a control issue thing. I think of it as, knowing what my crew needs so that they can make the best product for me.
Right, brilliant. I mean, I really enjoyed the film. I've seen it.
Oh, you have seen it?
Yeah, I have seen. I just, you said, I know you talk about other projects, but you now do have a specific project that's been finished. That's the next project, the next thing.
I did 2 shorts in 2016. One exceptionally short, and then another one. Being here in London, it's fun. Canadian literature has a bit of a reputation of having the same themes over and over again, and somebody as a spoof made up a website called the CanLit Premise Generator. Anyway, you can find it online. And he's got a database of subjects, actions, plot twists, and you hit a button and it randomly generates a plot line for you.
Right.
And he advertised this as, if you want to write the next great Canadian novel but don't know what to do, just hit the button, it'll tell you what to do. And it gives you a line. And I thought this sounded hilarious. I heard the guy interviewed on CBC Radio. So I went to the website and I just started clicking. And with a view to a short, I clicked and read the line and went, no, that's not it. Click, read a line, no, it's not. And I clicked and read a line, and I won't remember it verbatim, but it's something like an old man and his dog sitting with a Tim Hortons coffee, reflecting on the nostalgic youth that he probably never had. Something along those lines. It's actually, so I went, that's brilliant. I wrote a short film to go with it.
From that one line, it's incredible.
From that one line, and then I got my DP to come and film it, and then it's just a narration over an actor in the background, which is me, and I played the old man. The only person on that film who got paid was the makeup artist, who did me up as an 80-year-old, and I had a blast, and that's the one I edited completely by myself.
And when's that available?
Well,
do you think?
It's available now if people would like to invite me to their festival or buy it for distribution.
Right, okay. Jordan, listen, that's great. Thank you. That's
pleasure
wonderful.
being here. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was brilliant.